Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're diving into something absolutely fascinating, that massive gap between what people are actually saying out loud and what their bodies are secretly revealing. We're going to unpack the biological and psychological cues of body language so we can really understand human emotions. I mean, have you ever just wondered what someone is truly thinking, completely ignoring the words coming out of their mouth? Well, today we're going to analyze those tiny, subtle physical signals that literally give us X-ray vision into the human mind.
So here is a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? Can you actually tell if someone is lying? Just think about it. Have you ever wished you could read someone's true intentions before they even speak a single word? Like knowing if someone genuinely likes you, or if they're completely making up a story, or maybe they're just desperately looking for a polite way out of the conversation. It kind of sounds like magic, but the reality is it's all grounded in biology and just really careful observation.
It all really boils down to this one simple core premise. Bodies never lie, even when words do. People are great at scripting their words, right? They can meticulously plan out their lies or rehearse their little polite excuses. But their bodies are constantly leaking the absolute truth about their internal state. And the cool part is, once you know the baseline behaviors to look for, you're going to start noticing these hidden signals literally everywhere.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with how the face never lies, move down to torso and arm signals, check out the truth in posture, and finally, we'll explore the invisible social space. Section 1. The face never lies.
Let's talk about eye direction because this is wild. If you ask someone a question and they look up and to their left, they're typically accessing the memory center of their brain. They're pulling up something that actually happened. And pay attention to this, if their eyes shoot up and to their right, that is a super strong indicator that their brain is fabricating something. They are actively constructing an image or a thought that just doesn't exist in their real memory. It's an incredibly useful probability marker to help spot when someone might be stretching the truth. And beyond just direction, the eyes spill the beans in other subtle ways too. Take pupil dilation. If someone's pupils are dilated while they're talking to you, it's often a totally biological response showing they are highly engaged or even attracted to you. Though, actually, self-correction here, make sure you aren't just standing in a super dark room, or you might totally misread the situation. Then we have blinking. Rapid blinking usually points to someone experiencing a sudden spike of internal stress. On the flip side, minimal blinking is a classic sign of someone intentionally trying to suppress their emotions. Think about professional chess players, They'll purposefully suppress their blink rate during a big match so their opponent can't read their strategy through some tiny micro-expression. But hey, it's not just the eyes. The mouth gives away a ton of information, even when a person is just totally silent. If someone has their lips tightly pressed together while you're pitching an idea, it's a massive subconscious sign of disagreement. They are not buying what you're selling. If they're constantly biting their lips, well, that reveals some hidden worry or stress. And if you see them frequently covering their mouth with their hand, that's actually a physical manifestation of them trying to block their true emotions or thoughts from escaping. Now, the difference between a real smile and a fake one, it literally comes down to seconds. A genuine smile of joy and satisfaction lasts about 6 to 7 seconds, and crucially, it creates those little crinkles right around the corners of the eyes. If a smile lasts, say, 3 to 6 seconds and the eyes just remain completely flat, well, it's polite, it's just for show, and they probably aren't actually amused. But you absolutely need to pay close attention to that 1 to 2 second smile. A super fleeting 1-second smile is a massive red flag. It frequently masks underlying sadness or, believe it or not, concealed anger.
All right, section 2. Torso and arm signals.
Let's look at what our hands are up to when we aren't actively thinking about them. Notice the contrast between a supposedly casual conversation and tight fists. If someone makes fists during a casual chat, they are forcefully trying to control their stress or anger. Tapping fingers on a table, they're usually frustrated or just incredibly bored. And what about holding hands behind the back? Often this means hidden worry or a strong desire to just not engage. Though there is a notable cultural exception for sure. If a student is talking to a teacher, having hands behind the back is simply a sign of deep respect. Now, crossed arms. This is probably the most universal defensive gesture we have. When someone folds their arms tightly across their chest, they are subconsciously building a physical barrier. They are literally defending their mind. It's their nonverbal way of saying, I'm reserved, I'm closing off, and I'm definitely not open to agreeing with you right now. It's like a literal shield.
Here's a super revealing one that almost everyone ignores: chest direction. Picture this. You're at a networking event, standing in a circle of 3 people. You can tell exactly who actually wants to be there just by looking at their chest.
If their torso is pointing away from the group, they're mentally already looking for the exit. They are totally disinterested. If their chest is pointing directly at one specific person, boom, that is who they are most focused on. And if they are actively leaning their chest forward into the conversation, it shows high engagement and really open trust.
Section 3. The truth in posture. You can actually figure out so much just by watching how someone walks into a room. Broad, straight, squared-off shoulders, that projects high confidence, self-belief, and really vibrant energy. Conversely, slouching shoulders pointing downward almost immediately signal an underconfident posture, which is usually tied to low energy. But actually, wait, let me add a quick caveat here because this is absolutely crucial. Never judge someone's posture as a lack of confidence if they clearly have a medical condition, an injury, or age-related mobility changes. Context is always key.
Okay, let's decode the secret language of legs. When someone is standing with their feet in a V shape, heels together, toes pointing out, they are subconsciously welcoming people into their space. Now, if their feet make an A shape with the toes pointing inward, they're likely feeling pretty introverted or reserved in that specific moment. What about when they sit down? Sitting with legs spread wide open is a classic sign of dominance. They're attempting to take charge of the situation. And a classic power move is sitting with one leg crossed over the other to form a 90-degree angle. That right there is a reliable marker of relaxed, extreme confidence. Like I said earlier, context changes everything. Take touching your hair, for example. It's such a common habit, but it can mean two drastically different things depending on the exact motion. If someone is lightly brushing their hair away from their face, they're signaling openness. Or hey, they might even be flirting with you. But if they are gripping their hair tightly with one hand and stroking it anxiously with the other, that is a crystal clear stress response. They are nervous and actively trying to self-soothe.
Section 4. The invisible social space.
Did you know that physical distance is actually a pretty mathematical gauge of emotional closeness? It really is. If someone stands 6 to 18 inches away from you, you're in their intimate zone. They are highly comfortable with you. If they stay 1.5 to 4 feet away, you're squarely in the friends and family zone. Comfortable, sure, but not necessarily intimate. But if they purposefully keep a distance of 4 to 12 feet, they view you purely as an acquaintance. They just haven't established any real intimacy or deep trust with you yet.
This brings us to one of my absolute favorite psychological indicators, the copying gesture, also known as mirroring. If you ever notice that the person you're talking to has subconsciously adopted your exact posture, or they're using the same hand gestures, or maybe even walking in the exact same rhythm as you, that is a fantastic sign. This natural synchronization literally means their mind is deeply aligned with yours, and they are highly receptive to your ideas or just to you personally.
So, as we wrap up, just remember this. Observing body language is basically a superpower for building better relationships, dramatically improving your communication, and just understanding the unspoken dynamics in any room you walk into. Use these insights wisely to connect with people. But here is a lighthearted yet very serious warning. Don't be creepy about it. Staring intensely at someone's feet at a dinner party or counting out loud how many seconds their smile lasts, yeah, that is a surefire way to make them run in the exact opposite direction. Keep it subtle, folks.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer. You now have the structured insights, the biological data, and all the visual cues you need to better understand the unsaid truths of human interaction. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought as you step back out into the real world. Whose mind will you try to read today? Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.